Hi everyone, Charlene Ortiz here with your workout of the week. Today's workout is going to be a full standing workout, and you're just going to need two pieces of equipment. So I'm just going to be using my tubing right here, and you're also going to want to use one of your therabands. And so if you don't have one of these, you could maybe use a piece of tubing and tie it. That would be an alternative, but this would definitely be a lot more comfortable, a lot more preferable. But either one will work if you don't have the other one. So as you can see, I'm in a new environment today. I'm at my new job, which I'm very excited to film here. And I thought it'd be a nice change of scenery. These are still going to be exercises that you can do at home with limited equipment. And so don't worry, I'm not going to be including all this fancy equipment that you won't have access to from home. So I'm just going to be using a punching bag here as an anchor for my tubing, but remember, when you're doing this from home, you can just use your door anchor like in the other workouts that I've done from home. So, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just begin the workout, and I'll do one set of each exercise just to show you how to do the full workout. I'm going to start with just a basic row movement, which I've done many times in many videos. And a couple other full workout videos I've done too. So as you guys should already know, you're always in your neutral spine. Pull that belly button in nice and tight to give your back nice support and an anchor. So from here, I'm going to do my retraction, and then I'm going to pull back, bringing my elbows back behind my body. I have my lower body with my knees just slightly bent, just so that I have a nice stable base while I'm performing my movement. As I pull back, I'm breathing out. As I release, I'm breathing in. And like with everything else we've done, you'll start with 10 to 15 repetitions. You could even do 8 to 12 if you want to, with a little bit heavier resistance. And like I say in all my videos, make sure that you're using a resistance level that's challenging you. If you're using something that's super light and you don't really feel like there's much strain on your muscles, you're not going to get a great workout. It's going to take forever for you to see results. And so make sure that you are challenging yourself as long as you can do at least 8 to 10 repetitions and maintain proper form. And so look, I'm going to do a couple more of these. So again, I'm retracting and pulling back. I'm keeping my wrist in a neutral position as I do the movement. And if any of you are new, I'm going to do one more to these workouts of the week. All the exercises that I do, I have done instructional videos on how to perform these properly. So you want to check out my instructional videos playlist to get a really good in-depth instruction on the appropriate movement of all the exercises that I'm performing today. So my next movement is going to be for my lower body. This is where I'm going to use my band. I am going to do something a little bit different today than I've done in other videos, just to give you some variety. And with this exercise, I'm just going to step out to the side and do a little squat movement. And so from this position right here, I'm going to step to the side, do a little squat, and then release, and then step to the other side. And just do a little squat movement, just like that, okay? And we want to make sure that we keep tension on the band throughout the whole movement. Remember, when you're doing squat form, you're always keeping your knees from coming in. You want to keep them out in alignment with your toes. And you also are always making sure that your glute is leading the movement, the knees aren't coming forward, and your upper body leans forward slightly just to counterbalance you as you do your squat. Okay, and again, I talk about all this in my instructional videos playlist on how to perform the most common lower body exercises properly. And also when you're doing your squat, as you're coming up, always push through the heel of the foot to get the glutes and the hamstrings to engage, and that will also take stress off of the knee. And I'm also keeping my head in neutral. I mean, I'm looking up at you guys, but in general, you don't want your head to be back like this, compressing that cervical vertebrae. And obviously our abs are always pulled in nice and tight. That's just a standard. And I'm going to do just a couple more. And so again, I'm stepping to the side, squatting. As you can see, it's not a large movement. It's just a small movement, but it's still quite challenging. You'll certainly feel that. All right, so from here, I'm going to go on to just a basic push-up. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go onto the floor and do full body, but you guys can use any type of apparatus, just like I've demonstrated in other videos in the past. So, you know, you could even use just the wall if that's where you're starting. You could use your kitchen table, a coffee table, you know, whatever it is, as long as your form stays consistent in neutral spine. And if you can do full body, that's great, but again, don't attempt it if you don't feel like you're ready for that. Any elevated surface will be just fine. All right, so I'm just gonna do 10 repetitions of basic push-up. So I'm gonna go onto the floor, and I'm keeping my shoulders down, I'm keeping my lower back in its neutral, I'm not letting my butt dip down, I'm also not letting it stick up into the air, and I'm leading the movement with my chest, and only go down as far as what feels comfortable for you, and so that you don't put too much stress on your shoulders. Again, as long as you're keeping that nice neutral position, and remember that also starts from your neck. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do 3 more, breathing out and in, out and in, last one, out and in. Okay, all right, and I'm going to go ahead and relax from that movement. All right, so from here, I'm going to do just a basic reverse lunge exercise. And so, again, I did this one in my lower body instructional video. And so, and I like reverse lunge over frontal lunge just because it puts a little bit less stress on the knee. Although the forward lunge is fine, but this is just my lunge of preference in order to, you know, just get the glutes to engage a little more and to protect those knees. So, okay, so getting into my neutral, as always, as you step back, you want to make sure that this knee, just like the squat, does not come forward, and that this leg just does a straight up and down movement, okay? So we'll do just a stationary lunge, and again, just keeping that knee nice and level. If you see your toe and your foot disappear, you know that your knee is coming too far forward and that you need to bring this knee back, okay? And in the beginning, if you have a hard time with balance, you can certainly hold on to any apparatus while you're doing it. And as you're coming up, you want to also push through the heel of the foot. Okay, so I'm losing my balance a little bit too. All right, let's go ahead and do a couple more. As you come up, you'll breathe out. As you go down, you'll breathe in. One more, and relax. Okay, so I'm going to switch to the other side. Stepping backwards, again, keeping this knee in a nice level position. Bringing that back knee straight down. Push through the heel of the front foot, and up. Breathing out, and in. And out, and in. And of course, I'm keeping my neutral spine at all times. Also, the back leg, I forgot to mention, you want to make sure is staying in also a nice appropriate alignment, where you're not too far forward like this, you're not too far back either. But the knee should just be coming straight down, where both knees are kind of forming a right angle as you go into your lunge. And with many of the movements that we do, don't worry about range of motion. If this is your range of motion, but you're able to keep the appropriate form and not to put too much stress on your knee, that's fine. Then let this be your range of motion. I'm going to do one more. All right, and relax. Okay, you guys are doing a great job. I'm certainly starting to get tired, as you can see, but it's a good thing. It means that we're doing something right. All right, so now from here, I'm going to go on to just a basic reverse fly movement. Okay, and again, I've done this in my instructional videos for the back. And so I'm going to just put this around my little punching bag here. And in general, this wouldn't be the most stable apparatus. I would want to use something more stable, but I'm not using a whole lot of resistance, you know, for this video demonstration today. All right, so we want to make sure that where the tubing is placed is lined up with our rhomboid muscle, the rear delt, which is the main muscles that are going to be trained in this exercise. The tricep muscle will be an accessory muscle to the movement as well. All right, so I'm in my neutral, shoulders are back, abs are in tight, and I'm coming straight out to the side, just letting the tubing come across the top of my chest. I'm also keeping my wrist in a neutral position. As I release, I'll breathe out and in. And this time I'm doing it one side at a time. I've done a video where I did 2 sides at the same time, but you could do either or. And so what I like about one side at a time with a lot of exercise is that it helps to even out any strength imbalances that you might have. Okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to do a couple more. So let's go ahead. We'll do just one more after this. Breathing out and in. And you want to make sure you're getting a nice full extension with that movement. So I'm going to turn around to the other side. I'm not going to completely turn around because I don't want my back totally towards you. So I want to make sure, again, I'm in my neutral, my arm's almost straight with just a slight bend in the elbow. Again, straight out to the side, a little bit too far away, and then you'll release, okay? And again, you're getting that nice full extension in your movement, so that way you're really getting a nice full contraction in those rhomboid muscles, as well as, again, the tricep muscle as an accessory muscle, and your rear deltoids. All right, and again, as you release, breathing in and out, I'm going to do 3 more repetitions. Breathing out and in. Again, breathing out and in. One last time, breathing out and in. And that way you can get, both angles, the front and the back, just to see the position of my arm and what it's doing. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just do a little combination bicep squat movement, and I'm going to use my tubing right here. You can even use light free weights for this if you want to. It doesn't really matter as long as what you're using, if you're using tubing, that'll be long enough for you to step on and to do a bicep curl, and that the resistance won't be too tight, because when you have it stretched out this much, the resistance will definitely increase the intensity of the movement, certainly. I'm going to do a lateral view here just so you can see the position of my elbow in my appropriate squat form. So I'm just going to do just a basic bicep curl, and I'm making sure that my elbows are staying nice and level. I'm not letting them move, okay? So I'm going to curl and release, and then I'm just going to go into just a slight squat. That's all. Again, curl and release, and into my squat. And just like the exercise that we did earlier in this workout, you're making sure that you're leading with your glute. You're pushing through the heel of the foot as you're coming up. And you're also not letting your knees come forward. As you start to get fatigued, it's going to be real easy to let the form go. And it's also going to be really easy to let the contraction go in your abdominal muscles. Keep that belly button pulled in the whole time. And you will forget, everybody does. Even I forget sometimes in my own workouts. So, all right, I'll do 3 more. Again, I'm going to come up, go into my curl, and release. Go down, breathe out, and again, and release. I'm also, again, keeping my wrist in a neutral position. Last one. And relax. All right, very nicely done. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to move on to the floor, and we'll end with some abdominal exercises. Okay, so now I'm going to end with just a couple abdominal exercises that you can do. And so I'm going to lay down onto my mat. I have my little ball right here, and all the equipment that I use today, in case you haven't, this is your first time watching one of my videos, you want to check out my video, How to Build a Gym for Under $50. And I show you, I give you links on where you can buy this equipment for a really, really good price. This you can get on eBay for like $2 or $3. So, all right, so this exercise is called leg circles. And so this one can be a little challenging for some people. So you just want to make sure you watch your range of motion, your position. I'll talk about where if you're just beginning and to build your abdominal strength, what your position will be, or if you're a little more advanced. Okay, so with this movement, and if you don't have a ball, you can still do the exercise, so don't worry about that. All right, so putting the ball between your knees, okay? You're going to try to keep your legs just as straight as you can. If you need to put a slight bend in the knee, that's fine, don't worry about it. And all you're going to do is do just a little circle, and you want to make sure that you're keeping your hip stable. Like you don't want to be doing this or anything like that. You'll hurt your back too. And also you want to make sure that you're keeping your lower back in its neutral, meaning you're not arching, okay, when you're doing the movement. And that's just a basic
rule with all the abdominal exercises that I've done laying down, that you're always keeping your back in a neutral position where it's not arching. All right, so in this position right here, this will be the easiest position to do this movement. And the bigger you go and the lower you go and the straighter your legs are, the more challenging the movement will be. So you decide what position and how big of a rotation is going to be appropriate for you, and where your strength levels are at for your abdominal muscles. And you'll do 10 rotations on each side. So I'm going to switch. And again, you just want your movement to be nice and controlled. In general, it's not really a big movement because if you go too big, again, your hips are going to start lifting up off of the mat, and we don't want that. We want to keep it we want the movement to stay isolated, right where our quadricep meets our hip right here. So we don't want the whole hip to be moving up off of the mat. Again, it's not that big of a movement. And I'm just going to go ahead and do one more and relax. So that's just a basic leg circle movement. And that one's new. I know I haven't done that one before, but with the leg circle movement, obviously you're getting your transverse, especially if you're keeping your back down and not letting it arch. That transverse is going to have to engage to do that. And your oblique muscles will be a little bit more engaged just because of the nature of the rotation. The oblique muscle will have to engage as your legs go to each side. And so really great exercise I've done with a lot of my clients. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and just do a basic double crunch movement. And I know we've done this one before. This is familiar. So I have just a light weight right here. This is just a 4-pound weight that I have. So again, if you don't have even a light weight, that's fine. You can still do the movement just with your arms. Okay, so this position right here, we're just going to release our upper lower body. I think we've done this one before in another workout. And you'll breathe out and in, and again out and in. And your movement does not have to be large, or your range of motion, okay? So if this is your range of motion, but you're able to keep your back down and feel confident about that, that's fine. Keep this as your range of motion. If you can do a full range of motion and still keep that back from arching up, that's fantastic, but it's not necessary. In everything we do, the most important thing is your ability to maintain neutral spine while you're doing the movement. So, all right, I'm going to do 3 more. I haven't been counting, but I think that's around 10. So, and breathing out and in. Let's do one more. Breathing out and in. Okay, so from here, from the floor, you're going to rotate yourself to the side and push yourself up like that. Okay, especially if you're someone that does have back issues and back pain, that's definitely, I'm going to take this out. That's definitely going to be a really great non-invasive way to get up off of the floor. So, all right, congratulations. You made it through another workout of the week, and I want you to perform this full workout for, again, 3 sets, 2 to 3 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions. And again, remember to challenge yourself with the resistance of the tubing, as well as how many sets you do. So if you can do 3 sets, if you've done 2 sets, you feel good enough to do 3, then definitely go to 3 sets. So your next nutrition tip of the day, or of the week, is going to be replace any type of fatty, high salt snack like chips or, I don't know, like any, like Cheetos or whatever, just any type of really unhealthy salt or salty snack that you eat. I want you to replace it with a healthier version of a nut. So whether it's almonds or walnuts or like a healthier type of nut. Cashews are okay, but they are a little bit higher in fat. Walnuts and almonds are great, but I want you to replace a high salt, high fat, unhealthy snack with a healthier nut instead. And just do that once a day. So let's say you have 2 or 3 bags of chips a day, then I want you to replace one of those bags with just a healthy nut, healthier version of a nut. And that will be a healthier form of fat for you, as well as provide a lot more nutrients than any bag of potato chips or any type of unhealthy drink that's going to be high in sodium and high in unhealthy fats. So, and your positive thought for the week is going to be, everything works out for my benefit and flows easily. And again, that's just, even if it's not true, you just still want to tell yourself that. So, and a lot of these tips for your positive, to make your thought process more positive, might, kind of be in line with each other. However, again, it's really about changing the way you think and changing the way that you see your life. It really goes much more beyond positive thinking. It really does, and I'm going to do a video about that. I know I've been doing that I am doing my subconscious video soon. But just starting with those types of thoughts, even if you don't believe it yet, it will start to make a difference. But you have to, just as like you have to be diligent with your nutrition and your workouts, you have to be diligent in your thought process and control how you think and how you perceive your life. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in for another workout of the week. And again, I'm planning on going back to a consistent schedule of doing this every week for you guys. So, all right, remember, take care of yourself. Protect yourself physically and emotionally. And don't forget, your health is your most valuable asset. Invest in it. Bye-bye.